Introduction. Have you ever wondered why only a small portion of the population seems to succeed in their manifestations? Why is it that despite all the effort, many people simply can't manifest what they so desperately desire? The answer lies in a hidden secret that only 1% of the population knows and applies in their life: effortless manifestation. Yes, you read that right. The key to creating the life of your dreams is not working harder or striving endlessly, but understanding a powerful principle of quantum physics and spirituality. When you align with the energy of the universe, everything happens without you needing to force it. Curious to learn more? Get ready to understand how to access this extraordinary ability and transform your reality effortlessly. Topico 1. The hidden truth about manifestation. Most people have a wrong idea about manifestation. They believe that the harder they try, the faster their intentions will come true. However, the truth about manifestation is much more subtle and powerful than that. Did you know that often effort is an illusion? The more you try to control the outcomes, the further they seem to move away from you. True manifestation happens when you align with the universal flow without forcing or fighting against what is. When you learn to allow instead of control, you start to experience a deep and true personal transformation. Think of water flowing through a river. It doesn't need to force its way. It just follows a current, flowing around obstacles. Likewise, manifestations in your life don't need effort. When you let go and allow things to unfold naturally, manifestations begin to occur effortlessly, like perfect synchronicity. This is the power of quantum manifestation, the power to let life flow and trust the process. People often cling to the idea that they must do something to make things happen and end up creating resistance. And resistance is the biggest enemy of manifestation. If you're constantly thinking about how you're going to get what you want, you're setting in motion the idea that it's not available to you in the present moment. This creates space between you and your desires. The key is to relax and trust that manifestation will happen naturally, without rush. One practical way to apply this in your life is by starting a meditation practice. When you meditate, you begin to calm your mind and allow the energies around you to align with your intentions. Start with simple meditations focusing on your breath, and slowly, you'll feel manifestation becoming a natural consequence of your inner peace. Don't worry about the results. Let them come when the time is right, and you'll see that, eventually, the universe will bring you exactly what you need. So, how can you begin to understand this? First, stop forcing. Stop obsessing over how you'll get what you want. Instead, begin to align with the energy of what you want to manifest. Feel worthy of receiving it, and allow yourself to trust the process. You'll see that by letting go, manifestations will happen without you needing to try. And when you align with the energy of the universe, you'll start noticing that life is full of signs and synchronicities. Every step you take, every decision you make, is part of a larger flow that will guide you toward what you desire. This leads us to the next important point, which is understanding the laws of effortless manifestation. Topico 2. Understanding the laws of effortless manifestation. Effortless manifestation follows universal laws, just like gravity. You don't need to fully understand gravity for it to work, right? It just works. Similarly, the laws of manifestation operate silently behind the scenes, influencing what you create in your life. One of these laws is the famous law of reverse effort, which states that the more you try, the further your manifestation moves away from you. Imagine you're trying to push a door open. The harder you push, the harder it becomes to open, and you end up exhausted, without success. But if you just push lightly, the door will open with ease. This is how manifestation works. Now, you might wonder, how does this apply to my real life? Well, think about the times when you force something to happen, chasing a dream with so much intensity, without realizing that your force was actually pushing what you wanted further away. When you try to control the outcome, you are essentially telling the universe that you don't trust the natural flow of things. And when you don't trust, the universe begins to pull back. This is the game of manifestation, letting things happen naturally without trying to control every step. A practical example of this is when you're trying to find a new job or achieve something you desire, but you become obsessed with the result. Obsession creates an energy of scarcity and lack. When you align with the energy of abundance and stop worrying, the universe begins to conspire in your favor. Remember the law of reverse effort. Stop forcing and start flowing. The key is to trust that what is yours is already on its way, and you don't need to rush it. Have you ever noticed how your greatest achievements happen when you were relaxed, not worrying about the process? This happens because, by letting go of anxiety and control, you begin to align your intentions with the universe's energy. It's like being a river, flowing effortlessly rather than swimming against the current. Effortless manifestation arises when you allow the universe to move in your direction, guiding you without resistance. To apply this law in your life, start observing your intentions. Instead of focusing on how you'll achieve something, ask yourself how you can simply be the person who already has what you want. When you shift the focus from struggle to trust, the universe begins to respond. You create a reality where effort is replaced by grace, and manifestation happens naturally. This leads us to the next crucial point, the principle of non-resistance. Topic 03. Non-resistance as a key principle. Resistance is one of the biggest obstacles to manifestation. When you fight against reality, focusing on what you don't want or struggling with your current situation, you reinforce that struggle and block manifestation. Imagine you're trying to push a door open. The harder you push, the more the door resists, right? Now, imagine instead that you wait patiently for the door to open on its own. This is what non-resistance means, accepting the present moment as it is, and allowing life to flow naturally. When you resist, you're telling the universe that you don't trust the process of life. You're trying to control what can't be controlled. The secret to effortless manifestation is understanding that you don't have to fight against anything. You only need to allow to be present and let things unfold. It's like being in the sand, letting the sea flow around you, instead of trying to stop the waves. In practice, non-resistance can be applied daily. For example, when you face a problem, don't react with frustration. Instead, observe what's happening, accept the moment, and see what can be learned from the situation. This creates space for solutions to manifest naturally. When you don't resist, you no longer create barriers and things flow more easily. Have you noticed how life seems easier when you let go of the struggle rather than fighting against it? This happens because, by not resisting, you align with the universal flow. Every time you accept what is, you make more room for good things to come to you. This is what we call synchronicity, the universe working in harmony with your desires. When you stop blocking the path with resistance, to start practicing non-resistance, make a conscious effort to stop fighting against reality. If something isn't going as planned, instead of getting frustrated, pause and breathe. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? When you allow things to flow, manifestation happens effortlessly and obstacles begin to disappear. This leads us to the next important principle for understanding how creation becomes automatic, the role of the subconscious mind. Topic 04. Automatic creation. The subconscious mind is an incredibly powerful force, and it's always creating whether you're aware of it or not. Every experience you have in life reflects your internal programming. This means that your external reality is simply a reflection of what you have stored in your subconscious. The problem is that most people are unaware of these internal programs and end up creating realities they don't want simply because their minds are filled with patterns of fear, scarcity, and limitation. Now, imagine that your subconscious mind is like a garden. If you plant seeds of self-confidence, gratitude, and abundance, your life will reflect that. But if you plant seeds of fear, doubt, and insecurity, you'll harvest the consequences of those thoughts. The crucial point is understanding that you can reprogram this garden by recognizing limiting beliefs and replacing them with empowering ones. You begin to automatically create a reality aligned with your desires. Have you ever noticed how sometimes life seems to just happen for you, like everything falls into place at the right time? That's what happens when you align with your subconscious programming in a positive way. Things start to flow effortlessly, and you realize that you're creating your reality almost automatically. This happens because you reprogrammed your subconscious to work in your favor, instead of against you. One way to start reprogramming your mind is through affirmations and visualizations. For example, every day, you can look at yourself in the mirror and affirm, I am worthy of everything I desire. Success and abundance flow easily into my life. These affirmations, when done consistently and with conviction, begin to replace the negative patterns that are deeply rooted in your subconscious. You can also create clear mental images of what you desire, visualizing yourself already living that reality. Over time, these changes become automatic. Your subconscious mind starts working to manifest what you visualize and believed is possible. You no longer have to struggle, because the process of creation is already happening without you even thinking about it. Everything aligns, like a big system working harmoniously to bring your intentions into reality. And this brings us to the next point about how time and synchronicity are crucial to this process. Topical 5. Time and synchronicity. Time and manifestation is not linear, and it's this perception that prevents us from truly understanding the power of manifestation. Instead of thinking that something needs to happen on a rigid timeline, begin to realize that time is fluid. What you desire already exists in a parallel reality, waiting for you to align with it. This shift in perception allows you to collapse time, making manifestations happen instantly, without having to wait. Rather than fixating on the idea that you need to wait for something, start imagining yourself already living in that reality. The trick is to realize that the future is not far off. It's available right now. When you align with what you desire, time loses the rigidity you think it has. You begin to experience a state of synchronicity, where everything seems to fall into place perfectly, like things are happening at the right time, in the right place. This is not coincidence. It's manifestation in action. The secret is in allowing yourself to live as if you already were living that reality. For example, if you're seeking a new job, instead of passively waiting, align yourself with the feeling of already having that job. Ask yourself, how would you feel working in that position? What would you be doing right now if you had achieved that goal? By tuning into these emotions and thoughts, you begin to act as if that reality already exists, and this causes the time between your desire and its fulfillment to shrink. This phenomenon of synchronicity can be perceived when you begin to notice coincidences, signs, and opportunities that seem to appear out of nowhere. The truth is, these things were always there, but you only began to notice them once you align with what you truly desired. It's as if the universe starts conspiring in your favor, and this is quantum manifestation at work. The secret lies in allowing yourself to live as if you already were, without waiting for a future fulfillment. To start taking advantage of the power of time and synchronicity, stop waiting for the future. Start living the reality you desire right now. By doing this, you align with the flow of the universe and see the results materialize before your eyes. And this leads us to the next essential principle, the power of silent knowing. Topico 6. Silent knowing over words. The true power of manifestation is not in talking about what you want all the time. Often, expressing our intentions verbally comes from a place of uncertainty, as if we need to confirm something for ourselves or for others. However, true manifestation happens when you have a silent knowing that you already possess what you desire. There's no need to prove anything to anyone or to talk constantly about your desires. Inner confidence, this silent feeling of knowing, is what truly activates manifestation. Imagine that you're trying to attract something into your life, whether it's a relationship, professional success, or financial abundance. Instead of talking about it all the time, affirming your intentions to everyone who will listen, enter into a state of silent knowing. When you are certain without words, when your heart and mind are aligned without needing to constantly vocalize what you want, you create a space for manifestation to unfold naturally. This doesn't mean that you shouldn't share your desires with others. The point is that when you're completely certain that something is coming, you don't feel the need to validate it all the time. For example, instead of talking about your desire for a new job to everyone around you, begin to feel that it has already arrived. This silent knowing is much more powerful because it comes from a place of trust, not insecurity or the need for external validation. In the digital world, we constantly see people talking about their desires, as if speaking about it was enough to make something materialize. But true magic happens when you stop seeking validation and start trusting your internal vision. There's no need to shout your intentions to the world. The universe has already heard them. When you align with the energy of silent knowing, you start to see how events unfold effortlessly, as if everything is part of a plan already in motion. To start practicing silent knowing in your life, do the following. Every day, Take a moment to feel as if you've already achieved what you want. Don't speak about it. Just experience the feeling of already living your manifestation. Over time, you'll notice how this inner certainty manifests in tangible ways. And by doing this, you're preparing yourself for the next principle, the importance of self-concept. Topico 7, the role of self-concept. Your self-concept is the foundation of all your manifestations. If you believe you're worthy of abundance, success, love, or anything else you desire, your reality will reflect those beliefs. When you see yourself as someone who already has what they want, you create the opportunity for it to materialize in your life. Your self-concept is, therefore, the map of your reality. And that's why, in order to manifest anything, the first step is to change the way you see yourself. It seems simple, but it's powerful. If you see yourself as a successful person, you naturally begin to act and make decisions that are consistent with that vision. Similarly, if you see yourself as someone who constantly struggles, you'll continue to attract situations that reinforce that idea. The secret is to change that perception. Start seeing yourself as a person who already has what you want. This creates a vibration in your being, an energy that resonates with what you want to attract. The way to work with your self-concept is, initially, to start with small affirmations. For example, if you want more confidence, begin affirming to yourself, I am a confident and capable person. If you want abundance, repeat, I am deserving of all financial blessings. These affirmations begin to change your self-concept, and over time, this new identity begins to reflect in the world around you. In addition to affirmations, visualization is also a powerful tool. Visualize yourself as a person who already has what you want. Feel what it would be like to live that reality. When you do this, you begin to reprogram your subconscious to believe that this new identity is already part of who you are. And as you change internally, the external world begins to change to reflect that transformation. Finally, it's important to understand that your self-concept is not fixed. It can be molded and changed at any time. If you're not happy with the way you see yourself, start changing that view right now. Be patient and consistent, and you'll see how this internal shift leads to external transformation. This leads us to the next point, how forgetting can be a powerful manifestation tool. Topico 8, forgetting as a manifestation tool. One of the biggest paradoxes of manifestation is that often forgetting is the key to speeding up the process. When you cling too tightly to a desire, when you're constantly focused on it and trying to force it to happen, you create a block. The more you think about something, the more you reinforce the idea that it's not here yet. And that's where the power of forgetting comes in. Forgetting doesn't mean giving up or neglecting your desires, but rather releasing tension and allowing things to happen naturally, without resistance. Imagine you're trying to catch a fish. If you keep pulling the fishing rod, thinking this will increase your chances of catching the fish, you'll probably have less success. But if you simply release the line without anxiety, the fish will come on its own. Similarly, manifestation becomes more fluid when you're not constantly searching for or forcing its fulfillment. By forgetting, you create space for your desires to manifest naturally. For example, if you're waiting for a big work contract or a new client, instead of thinking about it constantly, let the situation flow. Worrying about the outcome only makes it feel more distant. Instead, focus on other areas of your life, relax, and allow the manifestation to happen. This doesn't mean you should be passive, but that you need to trust the process and let go of the tension of expectation. The key here is trust. When you trust that things will align at the right time, you can then forget about the desire because you know it's on its way. The secret is lightness. The lighter you are, the faster things will manifest. This is like letting the universe do the work, while you stay aligned with the feeling of already having what you want. So, start practicing the act of forgetting, not as a way of giving up, but as a way to release attachment and anxiety. When you let go, you open a path for the universe to act. This brings us to the next point about how manifestation truly works, doing the opposite of everything you think you should do. Topico 9, doing the opposite. In manifestation, often the secret lies in stopping the effort. This may sound counterintuitive, as we live in a society that teaches us to work hard, fight, and chase our goals relentlessly. However, the truth is that true manifestation happens when you start doing the opposite. instead of continuously trying to control everything. What you often need to do is allow things to happen without effort. When you allow discomfort, shift focus, and even do nothing, you create powerful manifestations. The key is to step back and allow the universe to do its work. It seems strange, right? But in reality, the most powerful manifestations happen when you let go. This can be understood as a form of trust in the process, a trust that by letting go, you align with the natural flow of the universe. For example, when you're working on an important project and feel stuck, you've already tried everything to move forward, but the ideas aren't flowing. Instead of forcing it, try stepping back, take a break, disconnect for a while, and come back with a fresh perspective. You'll be surprised to find that often, the best solutions arise when you simply stop trying so hard. This doesn't mean you should be passive or not take action. The point is that action needs to be motivated by inspiration, not by obsession. When you act from a place of calm and trust, instead of frustration and control, you start manifesting your desires much more easily. The key is to allow yourself to be guided, rather than trying to force what you want. So, the secret manifestation is to do the opposite of what we normally do. Instead of pushing, relax. Instead of fighting, allow yourself to flow. Instead of insisting, let things happen. Life doesn't have to be a constant struggle. And when you allow this space, the universe takes care of the rest. Conclusion. Now that you know the secret behind effortless manifestation, the question remains, are you ready to let go of control and allow the universe to do the work for you? Have you thought about the power you hold in your hands by understanding these invisible laws that govern the creation of your reality? Change begins with your perception, trusting the process, and knowing that you are worthy of everything you desire. Now it's time to act, but in a different way. Don't force. Don't fight. Just align with your true essence and watch the manifestations happen around you. If you're ready to take that step, subscribe to the channel, activate notifications, and keep learning how to unlock the full potential of your being. Remember, effortless manifestation is yours. Just allow it.